Yes. Oh, that's good. That's good. Because he said, it's exactly what it sounds like, a marketplace. Please buy something or keep moving. My job does not include answering your dumb questions. Because you asked about the marketplace. So if someone just really doesn't want to be working today. It's atmosphere. Hi, welcome. My name is Sharisi. And in this video, I'm going to be working towards reimagining the Tomarang night market. So if you ever been to the night market, like playing the game wise, it's very empty and it's very quiet. And although I can't change how many Sims come or spawn over here, I would like to make it at least feel a little less of both of those things. With that in mind, I think the way I'm going to tackle this is through, of course, the tool mod and also deco Sims. But what did I say? Functional deco Sims, if that makes sense, at least the best of my ability. And I'll explain a little bit more on that later. Also, you're gonna be hearing my mouse and my keyboard. They're pretty loud, but I like it that way as well. Like, who doesn't like the clickety clackety of a keyboard? And I just like the mouse. But anyway, I've stared at this a lot while trying to develop a game plan for this. And really, so this whole area is the Tomarang night market, but I'm going to divide into 3 sections. It's going to be this section, and this section. Right? And I'm going to work through section by section. So first, starting off with this one, as you can see, I've put cones around this entire area, and that's really just to help me keep track of everything and to just make it easier to share at the end while using tool mod. So I've copied and pasted those cones on this lot over here so that as I use tool mod to also decorate things, I'll be able to put it back on the lot. But that'll make more sense later. So as I mentioned before, the first step is going to be the deco Sims. If you don't know what deco Sims are, they're just Sims made explicitly for decoration. So they're Sims turned objects. And for the vendors, I wanted them to look like they're from Tomarang. So basically what I did was wait for Sims to spawn and just snatched them off the street and then decorated them in the vendor outfits. And I believe there's so many empty stalls. I don't know what the plan was from the Sims team, but the plan was to make a Sim for every fake stall that's in the night market. So if I counted correctly, I believe there's 12, so there should be 12 decoration Sims. As I was doing this, when I came to the poses, I was afraid this would be the moment where I would kind of burn out, but it actually was one of the easiest, and I have to credit that a lot to the Sims rig I found from Fixated. I hope I said that right, because I recently just raided their Patreon completely. If you couldn't tell by how my game looks, they're the same people who do the dark UI. They do the dark mode for The Sims. They do the clean UI, and they also do the mirrors and the cast backgrounds with the mirrors. I love them so much. And I recently, when I was scrolling through, I found that they had a Sims 4 rig, and I decided to use it, and I loved it so much. And it came with a pose library that I usually don't like, or I usually don't mess with pose libraries, but I loved them. They were so helpful, they were so convenient, they were so easy to use. I could not advocate for this Sims rig enough. Before, I had just been using my own little rinky-dink rig that I threw together, but theirs was actually super amazing. Also, another thing I'm mentioning that it's been so long since since I was last making Sims videos for YouTube. Like, I believe I was consistently making them. I was in high school. It's probably like around the pandemic. And now I'm going into my 4th year of university this upcoming fall. So yeah, it's the time skip is real, but this process of making these deco sims, like, it really put me in such a flow state that I've been up for literally the past 4 days. Like, I sleep during the day, I'm awake during the night, because when I go, I just don't want to stop. Also, this started off as just simple, oh, let me just make deco sims, I'm just throw them in there and it'll be fine. And then it was, oh, it'd be really cool if you could interact and talk with them. Then it became was, oh, is it really an interaction if your sims don't get a buff from it? And then it was, oh, if they're talking to them, they have to have names. And then it just kept building. Oh, you should be able to, they should have backstories. Oh, you should be able to buy stuff from them. Oh, you should be able to do this and that. And then, I don't know why, ouch, hit my desk. I don't know how I got this far in the thought process before actually realizing, or remembering more so, that I don't know how to do any of those things. I am not a Sims 4 modder. But you know what? I was so focused, I wanted it to come alive so much that I've been pulling all-nighters, literally looking up YouTube videos, looking up forums, reading a bunch, trying to summon my, basically 1 year of experience when I was a computer science major to make sense of the entire process to do all these things. Now, I didn't get to do everything I wanted, but you gotta learn to accept the progress. So I'm grateful for the progress I've made, and I will be going over it. So this whole process of posting the Sims, that happened 3 days ago. Okay, the day I made the decision to do this is the day I posed all of these Sims. I thought this would take the longest. No, it's not when it took the longest. What took the longest is when I came up with the delusion in my mind that I'm a modder, and then decided to try to make that happen. But I am proud of the things that I did accomplish during this time. So starting off with this area, now that we're back into the game. Oh, I just realized you could probably hear my fan going on right now. You're gonna have to ignore it. It's summer. It's been 90 plus degrees every day. I'm not turning it off. But what I'm thinking here, just kind of brainstorming while looking at this space, I'm thinking of doing like little pop-up fences here. So you could separate, like, this is the eating space, this is the walkway space, if that makes sense. I don't think I said it before, but I'm also planning on doing like deco, like crowds, if that makes sense. So right now each vendor is going to be one object, but I'm thinking of making the deco sims to be in groups, so you don't have to worry about placing each and every one to form a group, but rather it's going to be like 5 sims to an object, and then you could place them here while also leaving space for of course playable sims to walk through as well. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking, so I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that now. I'm not gonna interfere with anything that's placed here, I'm just gonna work around it. But I do want that umbrella. Make sure I took the whole thing. Oh my gosh. Oopsies. Hold up. Eco-freak teak umbrella. That's something. So also, in this, I'm not planning on using any custom content. Just erase the temptation with that now. Okay. That's cool, okay. So I'm trying to think what would have fences. Let me go to debug. I'm gonna just start pulling things I think are going to be helpful. Okay, I think that's just scroll. I know I scrolled through it pretty fast. I know I do want trash. There's no place in the world that's gonna gather people and there not be trash on the floor. Oh, that reminds me, I should also probably get a trash can as well. Okay, now on to live edit mode. Should I include real trash cans or should I just do fake ones? Oh, would there be like a semi truck to bring in like decorations for the place, right? Like part of the preparation, the setup? I don't know. Oh, and then there's also these. Maybe I could use, well, actually it wouldn't be in that part of the street. Am I including the street? Okay, so I think this is what I found. I may go back and find stuff later. Oh, let me not go into Tomarang in here. Well, actually, yeah, let me not go into Tomarang here. So right now, this is all for rent, eco living, and then high school years, I believe. Should it be like gaps between each one? Or should they be closer? Kind of like this. And then, oops. And have it be like every two. I think I like it as every two. So and then maybe like rotate this one so it's diagonal. The other way. If I just do like 180. Oh, no. Okay, hold up. Rotate. I didn't want to do that math. Okay. And then should it also be right here, like along the curve? Also, let me the goal is I'm gonna just fill it up and then I'll take it out as needed later. Okay. Whew. I've done it. Truly would not be the same person without organized debug. I just realized it's gonna be slightly off because this point is starting from here, not here. I had to put another cone down. Okay. And I didn't account for this. Okay. We'll fix it.
You can pass it. I'll spend it when you won't do it. You can pass it. I'll spend it when you won't do it. You can pass it. I'll spend it when you won't do it. You can pass it.
Oh, that was good. Okay. I don't know how dark this gets over here, but hopefully not that dark.
Pass it. I'll spend it when you won't do it. You can pass it. I'll spend it when you.
Now, real question is, do I like that? Yes! Oh, that's good. That's so good. Put that here. And let me rotate this some. 30. And let me get the trash. That's good. Okay, the trash is really bringing it together for me. I'll make sure I get more and like keep it around the fence area as well. So lastly, I just quickly want to go back to the deco sim vendors I was talking about before. These are the 3 I have finished so far. And for your sim goes up to it, you have 2 options. Ignore that little bit at the end. I'll get rid of it later. I just messed up changing the color. But you can have the option to ask about produce from this one. Ask about produce, and then you see they get a buff. It says Dave the vegetable vendor from asking vendor about produce, despite everything starting as a simple question. City was this sim here. I think that's how you say that. City was swept up in the smiling and charismatic vendor. City had a good time chatting, but they better be careful or they'll be leaving the marketplace with an empty wallet and a handful of vegetables. So see here, you also have the option to purchase vegetables. And then let me go ahead and handle that part. Oop, is that not that part? There, y'all can see it. Right here, I'll do that. I don't have clean UI on. Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Anyway, you'll see it here. Well, it's more than just vegetables. In fact, it says like starter vegetables and all that. But this is the best way I can figure out how to do it. Okay. And then melon, inventory. And then if you open it, you get your vegetables. Okay. Close enough. Oh, and then a little thank you for ordering. And then you go here, talk to this one. You can listen to their promotions. And then here you'll get a pop-up that says, okay. This won't be playing with me. Okay, here you go. You'll get a buff down here that says, wait, I'll read this one up here. It says vendor's promotion. So this is what the vendor is saying. What ingredients for tonight's dinner? Do you have everything you need for your bonjour? I don't know how to read that. Get your fresh ingredients for your next meal right here. Okay, and then here it says, a buff says it gets inspired buff, they'll last for an hour. It says sounds tasty from listening to vendor. If City wasn't hungry before, they certainly are starting to feel it now. All those meals are sounding tasty. This vendor might just be onto something. And then lastly, we have this one here. And then you'll see that she got the angry buff. So vendor Ismail, that's the name of the vendor. And it says, from talking to Ismail, the vendor, City was just trying to be kind and have conversation about the marketplace. There was no need to be so rude. And she says that because he said, it's exactly what it sounds like, a marketplace. Please buy something or keep moving. My job does not include answering your dumb questions because you asked about the marketplace. So if someone just really doesn't want to be working today. Also, I really want to, maybe instead of this, I want to add like a old lady, like very much like Shadow Man from Princess and the Frog, where you can make wishes for different things and they can either be granted in a good way or a bad way, like the wishing well from Romantic Garden. I also, again, I want to work on the crowds. I also want to play around with the special effects that come in The Sims to see if I can do more with that as well. So this is what I was talking about earlier as far as making sure everything can fit on this lot, because what I'm thinking to share it is sharing this lot here, and then you'd be able to set the grouping box using tool mod. So toggle object and then place it. Ideally, I would do something. I would place something to indicate where you would need to press in order for this to work, so it wouldn't require any finicking. So I'll like set up cones or something and like X marks the spot. So I just want to say thank you so much for following along with me as I get started on this project of reimagining Tomarang and hopefully making it a place that I would want to live in and want my Sims to visit for the night market. I'm looking really forward to making my own little shadow man in The Sims and the wishing like old lady type thing so much, because I just know if I master the cast, it's gonna look so good. But again, thank you very much for watching. Okay, same difference. It's really, thank you for ordering.
He is.
You know, this is a terrible sim to use with because the sim's name is Vendor, so it's actually so confusing. Let me, okay. What are y'all doing? And get my sim, and I click on them. I have the option to ask about ignore that. Next one here, you have the option to I need to change that. Probably need to re-import the tuning, and that should fix it. Oh,